Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today we're going to be looking at the Art of Play deck from Art of Play. Art of Play is the creation of brothers Dan and Dave Buck. The California pair were early cardistry pioneers who started the Art of Play website in 2013 as a place to sell playing cards and really celebrate their passion. But since that time, Art of Play has expanded to have a variety of different items, games, puzzles, magic-related items, a lot of high quality and beautiful items in their store. But ever since that time, they've always had a particular focus and a passion for playing cards. And that time, working with tons of different creators to produce dozens of what have become classic decks. But in all that time, there's never been an Art of Play branded deck until now. In 2021, the decks that you see here were released exclusively as part of the mystery decks. Their annual mystery decks included a chance at getting one of 6 different colorways of the Art of Play deck. I have 5 of them here. You have the green as well as blue, there's pink color, red, and white. There's also a bright yellow color. I don't know if there are plans to release this deck outside of the mystery decks or if they're always going to be mystery deck exclusive, but for now that's the only way you can get them without going to the secondary market. That said, there have been a few teaser pictures of these, but not really much of the cards themselves. So let's free some pips and find out what we have with the decks themselves. Now, I'm going to look at all of the decks. I will say the cards inside are the same, so we'll get back to these in a minute, but let's start out by looking at this one, the green deck. Now, it includes a tut case printed, as most Art of Play decks are, by Clove Street Press. They do some beautiful letterpress work on this one, and it's a really clean design overall. Features what's kind of a new Art of Play logo here in the center, forming a large spade pip, and you can see the A, O, and then P on the other side. So you have that Art of Play in the middle, and then this really cool corduroy sort of texture in the background. Really clean look to it overall, not much to it, and just a really pale green matte finish to the tuck. On the side, very simple playing cards with the diamond and spade pip, and then the club and heart pip on the other side. Bottom, not any ad copy, but just has a long kind of classic styled key here. Same thing on the top. And then the back has a little bit of a look of the back design of the cards. It says Art of Play along with their tagline, Epiphanies await the curious mind. Really simple look to it overall, not even any ad copy of any sort. I like the tucks a lot. To me, this is probably the strongest part of the deck overall. Just a really clean look. And when you combine that with the multiple colorways, I think it just kind of forms a striking set overall just for the tuck cases. So like what they did with the tuck cases, Clove Street always does a great job with those as well. As you open it up, another sort of tagline of Art of Play, there's always more mystery, and nothing printed on the inner flaps or the interior of the tuck. And that is it for the tuck case. Like I said, not much to it, but a really clean look overall. So not a bad job on that in my mind. All right, then we get to the cards, and we'll start with the back design. And here it is. So it's kind of on this ivory color here, this off-white or ivory color, and very simple back design, two-way back design, and it just says Art of Play, Epiphanies await the curious mind, just like we saw in the tuck case. And then finishing out with that double border, bright kind of orange red color on here. Typically, I'm not a fan of words on a deck. I will say the one thing that this does well, the sort of whimsical font that they use for Art of Play, I think kind of works in its favor. And then the fact that the rest of the words are so tiny on here makes it a little bit less distracting. But I would have loved there to be a little bit more artwork or design on this one, as opposed to just words on this. So not my favorite back design, but is what it is. Very clean look, just like the rest of the tuck case. So kind of fitting in thematically overall. All right, now into the cards. All right, get 2 jokers in this, and they both feature this sort of weird, bizarre looking character made of a playing card that's sprouted legs and a head here. One of them standing straight up, the Ace of Spades there, and then what looks like probably the 3 of Spades doing a back bend there. Fun look to them overall, kind of has a little bit of MC Escher, a little bit of maybe political, like old style political cartoon style. Interesting look to it. fun little Joker font in the corners. So like those, black and white look to them, but it's kind of a fun illustration on those. Bright orange Art of Play ad card there. And your last one is another, what I'll call an ad card. I guess you could use this as an extra Joker or something like that, but has the big Art of Play logo there, flanked by a couple more of those playing card characters. There's your extra cards, and then into the bulk of the deck. Start with the Ace of Spades. Beautifully illustrated Ace of Spades on this one. Formed out of a large tree, lots of different detail and shading. Really super detailed artwork on this one. I think it's well done. And then if you look in the branches of the tree, you have a few of the different pips, the club, diamond, and spade there, and then another spade card character who's kind of climbed up into the tree and reaching for those pips. Simple wonder underneath, and then a fun kind of modern font and for the pip and index in the corner. So like the look of this one, really like the Ace of Spades. The other three aces are much simpler. They just feature this, all three of them the same illustration in the middle, but just feature this simple sort of a flower sprouted out of a diamond with AOP Art of Play there in the middle. So very simple on these. These are all right. Not a huge fan of those other three aces. And you'll see on the red cards kind of uses that orange color, and then classic black on the black cards. So there's your aces. Number cards are a lot of fun in this one. They do something that I really like and I wish more cards would do, and that's replacing a single pip. So in these you'll get simple border, and then most of the pips are there, but in each card, one of the pips has been replaced with another one of those sort of anthropomorphic characters, in this case a book that sprouted legs walking in place of one of the pips on the 2, or a little chess piece there on the 3. Each one something kind of celebrating some of the games and puzzles that are also part of the Art of Play line. I think it's a fun look to it overall. There's a little jigsaw puzzle piece, a little, I don't know, star tchotchke there in the corner, telescope, a long spindly top there, a dice, and then a squat top over there. So very fun. I like these, kind of a cool little look to them. And like I said, I'm a big fan of replacing a single pip overall. I think it just kind of adds some interest while still keeping it kind of a classic look overall. As you get to the red cards, you'll see more of the same. Interestingly, no variation as you go from one suit to the other. So it's the exact same design on the 2s across the deck. All of the 3s are going to have the chess piece and so on. So no variation there. So it's the same characters as we go through the rest of the number cards. But quick look at the clubs there and the hearts. So not bad, nice look to them. Another, I think, highlight of the deck is these number cards and the pips. And then we get into the court cards, and interesting design decision on the court cards. They're definitely inspired by your classic bicycle courts. They have that feel to them. Very obviously recolored, not just that bright blue and kind of reddish orange color, but then also that bright yellow background. Really bold coloring considering how kind of muted the rest of the deck is, but definitely has that classic feel to them. I would have loved a little bit more art, bringing a little bit more of that whimsy from like the number cards, bringing that forward into the courts. I think would have been fun as opposed to going with the more classic courts. That said, Dan and Dave are a lot about cardistry and magic, so you'll see a lot of their decks with more standard courts. So not a terrible surprise on this one that they went with a more classic feel to it. Definitely increases the usability of the deck, if not, even if it doesn't really double down on the artistry of it. So there's your court cards. And that's it. That is the deck overall. As far as handling, these are on that super crushed stock that Dan and Dave are so fond of. Really super thin, nice snappy cards. Great handling to them overall. They're printed by USPCC, so the finish on them is great. The handling with that super thin stock, always really nice. So these are going to handle really beautifully, really smoothly. And that is the deck. Now the other 4 decks, I've only opened up the white one just to verify, but the cards inside these are the same. So no differences on them other than the color of the tucks. Great colors to some of them. I'm a fan of the ones that have kind of a bolder color. So the blue and the red one here are really the ones that jump out to me, as opposed to the more muted colors with like the pink or the gray here, or of course the green that we were looking at. But I think all of them as a set, I think are just a really striking combination overall, just for those tuck cases. And that's it. Uses of the deck, I think it would be a great functional deck to use. Obviously the tuck cases look good together, but if you wanted to use the deck for cardistry or magic, I think that's really where it's gonna find its mark. To me, high points of this deck, the tuck case, the number cards. Low points, not a huge fan of that back design. Wish they'd done more variety with 6 different versions of the deck. And standard quartz, not my favorite. That said, to me, the tuck cases, I think, really kind of make up for a lot. So fun set to have. Definitely one to keep an eye out for, especially if you're a fan of cleaner, more standard decks. Anyway, that's it for now. That is the look at the Art of Play deck from Art of Play. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe for more deck reviews and unboxings. Let me know what else you want to see, and I'll see you for the next one.